Hey guys, my name is Michael or Avi, and today you're going to be watching a live stream about fasting with my buddy Nick. So if you're interested in his content, his link's going to be down in the description below, and I welcome you to the live stream.
Okay, we should be live. Now, I'm Nicholas. Well, right now, my real name is Nikola, and this guy is Mike, who I used to know as Cuddle Mike. Now, that's a fun story. Let me just make sure I mute this. And I'll tell you guys about what I just did on my crazy 5 days of fasting, which is kind of ironic since Mike is not as fit as he used to be. But Mike, you want to introduce yourself to my channel really quickly? And I'm just for your channel, since your channel is bigger, I'll go first. Actually, I'm just a crazy guy who does very, very, very hippie shit. That's one way to put it. Used to be really hardcore in crypto, then hardcore in chasing girls. Now I'm hardcore into like growth and like emotional detox, life detox, and like health detox. So that's me in a nutshell. But you, Mike, what's up with you?
Welcome, everybody. My name is Michael Arabi or Kubera. I also run a cryptocurrency channel. We met through the crypto days, but now things have changed. I used to be skinny, now I'm fat. So today's a great topic, fasting. Back in the days, I also did a 5-day fast without food, but you took it a step further. You did no food and no water.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. That blew my mind. So it wasn't the full 5 days, right? Because water was only 2 days, right? But
Yeah,
that's
and
still difficult.
now this is so funny. On my second day of that was my fifth or fourth day of the water fast, but it was also my second day of a dry fast, which I started later because it's really important not to go dry immediately. You want to have at least one water only day before you go dry. So maybe like it would be perfect if you go like one veg a day, then one water day, and then like one fully dry day. So I just happened to do like a longer water fast before I did a dry fast, since water fast was my first and my main goal. But then I realized, damn, this is a perfect opportunity for me to go into a dry fast. And then in between, like in the middle of my second day, I realized that like the first day was easy, the second day was just hard. I was just feeling so much thirst, like so much thirst. And for me, like mental things, mental obstacles are usually quite easy because I did some really, really crazy exercises to face my fears. I would say I'm one of the rare people who are not afraid of death anymore, and not afraid of pretty much any major fear on this planet, which gives me lots of social freedom and lots of freedom in life and relationships and the way I basically do anything. But at the same time, that water just wasn't there, I was freaking out. Like I was legit freaking out. I was like, I can't do this. It was such a mental attack. And it was so funny on the second day, I opened up YouTube and typed in dry fasting. I was like, well, let's see what other people did. Like, what's the longest other people did? Because I'm freaking out. I can't do, like, I can barely do day two at this moment. And I found so many videos of people doing like 7-day dry fasts, 10-day dry fasts. And you're like, your mind just gets blown away. Because we're conditioned by school and medical system that this is theoretically impossible. But yet, average people, just your normal everyday people are doing it. Like it's in when you watch the videos, it doesn't seem like it's some crazy challenge. Like people are not having too much of a hard time.
Well, for some of the viewers out there, how would you prepare for both dry fasting and fasting without food? Because this is crazy for somebody who's maybe fasted at max 12 hours, right? You go to sleep and then they're eating for breakfast again, right?
It's so funny because my girlfriend's brother is like a hardcore food addict. My dad is a hardcore food addict. My mom, my sister, everyone I literally know are hardcore food addicts. And I used to be like a meat addict. That I was like, if I don't have a bunch of meat in every single one of my meals, I would just feel like I need meat. Like I don't have my energy, right? So I come from this really crazy family. I mean, extreme family in one direction, and now I'm almost hippie and extreme in the other direction, which is kind of the irony here in life of life, right? And my family kind of hate me at this point and disassociate with me. But that's a different story. back to fasting. So the first thing that's most important is just have a soft transition. Just like, when you edit videos or something, you don't want to have like a hard cutoff between like a slide one, slide two. You want to, have a fade in. That's exactly how you want to view it, any type of fast. No, a dry fast is obviously more hard than a water fast. So you want to, when you do dry, you want to make it even more soft. When you do a water fast, you can literally just stop eating. Now, it helps if the day before you didn't have much meat or much like really strong food, like lots of fat, lots of protein. You want to stick to mostly carbohydrates, mostly like fruits, veggies, like a vegetarian diet for a day before a water fast. And you want to stick to a really, really soft vegetarian diet a day after a water fast as well. So like soups are cool too. Like I would definitely have a bunch of soups, a bunch of teas. Actually, teas are pretty cool. If you have unsweetened teas, you can have teas throughout the water fast. So as long as you're not taking in calories, you can have coffee just with no sugar, no sweetener. It's 0 calories, right? As long as the calorie intake throughout the water fast at any given time is like less than 50 calories. If you just take a cup of coffee that has no sweetener, if you take like some tea or some sparkly water, but like obviously no sweetener, it'll help you like feel like you're taking in stuff, not just plain water. But the most important thing that people don't really pay attention to is the water you drink. Because if you just drink your everyday dead water from the tap or from the bottles, or even no matter how expensive the bottled water is, it's still like dead water which has been sitting in storage for a really, really long time until it reached you. It hasn't been in contact with nature for a long time. And this is something I didn't believe before. I was a hardcore atheist, about a year ago, 2 years ago. But when you literally taste the difference, you're like, okay, wow. When you take a cup of water like this, which is slightly yellowish, it's actually slightly yellow. You can't really see this on camera from the amount of minerals and stuff that's just natural in this water. It hasn't been like pretty much like killed from like and bleached, and it's not actually bleached, chemically treated. It hasn't been it's sitting in storage. It also hasn't been demineralized, and it just has all the natural stuff it's supposed to have without the bacteria, viruses, and that kind of stuff. So when I drink this cup of water, like I feel alive, right? But when I drink like a normal tap water or water from basically any water bottle company, I just don't feel the same thing. I mean, let alone distilled water. Distilled water is better than like dirty water or like tap water with heavy metals, or really shitty bottled water, but it's actually gonna take away nutrients from your body, because when you pee stuff out, like pee usually has some minerals and stuff and nutrients, and that water that you put in had less than it went out, so it's actually taking stuff out your body. It's good for like a short-term solution if you need really, really clean water, but yeah, most water filter systems are just over the top and take everything out. So that's one of the easiest way to have a water fast. Just have high quality water, and you will be surprised how long you will last. Like 40 days is a good target for most people. Like almost everyone you know around you, 99% of people can do 40 days, no problem. Now, because
dry fasting or
no, water
food?
fast. Dry fast,
Okay.
like the most I've heard people do was 2 weeks.
Okay.
That's the most I heard people do, because most people can't do more than 10 days. It's just it becomes being just mentally so difficult now. And realistically, you shouldn't push your body more than 10 days anyway. 5 days or 7 days is more than perfect, because after 7 days you'll drop every single dead cell or bad cell or like cell that shouldn't be there will be gone after 7 days. Every single possible disease will be gone in 7 days. So like everything that's not supposed to be there, your body will eat in order to survive. It's autophagy, if I remember the scientific term correctly.
What are the risks? Because obviously there's some benefits. You wouldn't be doing it otherwise, but there's got to be some physical risks and, as you mentioned, mental risks. So for the average viewer out there, you've already discussed a little bit how to prepare, but how do you watch out for these risks, and how do you?
Well, when you open your door, there's risks. You might get hit by a meteor. You might get hit by a car, which is more likely. I mean, it's a question whether we'll wake up the next morning. Like every day we're still alive is a miracle when you actually look at it that way. I mean, the reason, I mean, us being alive in the first place is a miracle. I mean, what are the chances of being born? Like 1 to a trillion or something. So it's a miracle you already heal it. Like the risk, there's always risks. I'm not, I guess legally I can't be like, yeah, guys, you should do it. Totally safe. But realistically, like, who really gives a shit? It's like the risks are you might stop paying for your doctor, and the risks are you will no longer fit into society, and the risks are your family and your friends might think you're crazy and not talk to you anymore. But if people stop talking to you, then you shouldn't be around them anyway. If they don't support you trying things or change, like there are people who don't want your life anyway. But those are the risks. You might get a divorce from a toxic relationship, or you might stop talking to your parents who are toxic, and the risks are really really high because you will snap you out of your life. But it's like the Matrix. It's like are you ready to take the red pill? That's the risk. But
So now it's been a few days since this has happened. How do you feel right now?
oof. So because I already did the fast when I had pretty low body fat. Like I would say I was probably around 12% body fat or 13, 14 before I went into the water fast, which is quite low. I didn't need to lose weight. Like I already was really really happy with how I looked. I'm basically mostly like I'm not built or anything. I'm just skinny, but mostly muscle. You barely see any fat on me. So I had a tiny bit of like this small layer of belly fat, which I just wasn't happy with. And I just looked at a belly fat approximately. I was like, okay, that's probably a couple pounds of fat right there. Maybe around my organs a bit more. So I know for a fact that we consume about a pound of fat to survive on a water fast, or about 2 pounds of fat on a dry fast. Because on a dry fast, you actually consume fat for its hydro water purposes as well, since fat is mostly water anyway. So in a dry fast, it's pretty much doubled because you consume the fat for the energy properties and the water for just daily living. So I looked it up myself and I was just an internal check. And I was like, okay, I can probably do like 5 days no water and a couple days no. 5 days no food and a couple days no water. So I was like, yeah, I'll just see how good it feels and listen to my body, because that's pretty much the best doctor is your body. And I realized now that I finished it was about 2 or 3 days ago. I looked at my stomach and there was just nothing there. It's just skin, but there's barely any fat left under it. But I don't feel like I lost any muscle. I would say I was able to drop under 10% body fat, which is really hard to do, and no exercise, no nothing. I just gave my body an ultimatum. I gave my body a one-way street. It's like you either follow my lead, you follow me, or we die. But my body's obviously really really smart. It's gonna be okay. I'll do what you say. So if you tell your body this is what you have to do, and you're not giving your body a choice, your body will listen and adapt because your body is fucking perfect. But that's something modern science doesn't really accept. Your modern science thinks how we're all flawed and we need to fix each other through science. Yet, like when you look at some holistic and alternative ways of thinking, we're already perfect as we are. We just gotta stop choking each other, stop choking ourselves, and stop literally intoxicating ourselves, and our body will be fine. It'll help itself up. It's more incapable of solving anything. So it's quite interesting how, because I kept moving, which is recommended for a water fast but questionable for a dry fast, to move a lot. It was becoming really really hard for me day 2. And when you move around and your body's doing this water fast, it's like your body's smart. It's gonna like, oh my god, okay, so it looks at its structure and it's like, okay, these muscles are being used a lot. This fat is just sitting here. Obviously, it's gonna eat the fat and not touch the muscles. Now, if you just lay down like you're sick and you water fast, that's actually dangerous. There's some risks there because your body will start consuming muscle. Muscle is easier to digest, probably, than fat. That's from what I heard. I'm not sure if it's correct. So your body will go for the muscle first, then the fat. So that's a risk right there. If you don't move around just regularly and have a normal day, if you just act like you're dead and lay down, your body will also act as if it's dead and consume everything.
Okay, so that's an important aspect. You need to continue your day like normal to preserve the muscles. How often could you do this? Per year or every few years?
The rule is how many days you eat, you can safely not eat. Believe it or not. So if you eat for one day, you're safe to not eat for next day. So one off, one on. That's a really easy one. Then you can do 5 days eat, 5 days done. That's also like a pretty safe one. Some people do 4 days on, 4 days off. Like people who want to hardcore lose weight, I would actually recommend this first personally for you. Like have a target of 40 days. See how many days you can comfortably last without mentally falling apart. Like mental had like a hard time is something you should expect. It's not like a simple walk, from to the store. You will feel some ups and some downs. It'll be a roller coaster, just like investing in crypto. But like if you feel like you're falling apart and you're gonna die, and it's like something's actually wrong and screaming at you, it'll be quite obvious. Like, okay, my body needs a break. So most people can do like 20-ish days, like not that difficult, like not that hard. But the important thing is not to quit after the first 4 days, because the first 4 days is where all the temptations happen. So the first 4 days, just ignore your body. Be like fuck you, like you follow me, I don't follow you. Like I'm not gonna be your slave and follow your addictions. Like you follow me. Like I'm the guy in charge here. So the first 4 days, just ignore the shit out of your body, and be like I'm the man here. But then like just listen to it carefully. It'll be like, okay, you win, I'll follow you. After 4 days, you shouldn't like really feel hunger anymore. You'll just, your body will be like, okay, I guess this is what's up, right? So it's like activating an antic muscle or something you haven't used like for thousands of years, because our modern history is pretty comfortable. We haven't had like hard times finding water or food. So our bodies are pretty much just lazy bastards, fat cats, right? So you gotta give it a couple whips to get it moving, which is expected in the first couple of days. But then like just listen to your body. And if you can do 40 days, that's a really like good target for somebody who has more fat than they should. For you, it's obvious. No, it's nothing personal, but it's just an observation, right? Look at your cheeks,
Right.
like it's normal. Like you have more fat than you probably should for your health. So yeah, 40 days for you is like probably not a problem. And then like 40 days just to mentally recover, and your body to give it a break so it can breathe some air and reanalyze itself and restructure itself according to kind of integrate to the new you. And then you can do 4 days off food, and then 4 days on, and just do on off. You probably have enough fat for a good half a year, not half a year, a couple months of pure fasting. So like if you do like 1 month off, 1 month off, like within 6 months you'll be looking like me, 6-7 months, and you'll be pretty much, even if you do 1 day on, 1 day off, and you eat the same amount of calories you would eat every day. So if your weekly average of calories is the same, and you do 1 day off, 1 day on, compared to everyday eating. So you have like one group of people for 7 days just eat same amount of calories, and the 7 other people for 7 days eat the same amount of calories as this group, just a lot of calories one day, no calories the other day, on off. You will actually lose more weight, even if you ate the same amount of calories, because your body will be more smart in what it eats. It'll just focus on eating fat, because that's what fasting does. Your body, flashes back into the ancestral times when our ancestors just didn't have food, didn't have fridges. So you eat a lot when you hunt something, you find something, and you just don't eat for a couple days, a couple weeks until you find some more sources of food. So your body's like, yeah, it's just time to eat some fat. There's no fridge. We're looking for food. We need more energy. So crank all the fat you can possibly do, so we have energy to hunt more food. So you're literally in overdrive mode. You'll be surprised how much energy you will have.
Well, I mean, that's part of nature, bears, hibernation. Let me ask you one thing. So earlier you were discussing how if it's underneath 50 calories, so a couple of calories, a lot of people chew gum or they take a mint. Do you think that, since it has sugar in it, will disrupt the cycle of fasting?
You'll be surprised how many addictions you will leave after you do just a couple day fast, not let alone a 40-day fast, 20 days fast, or 2-week fast. Because some of the first addictions I dropped was my sugar addiction when I started regularly fasting, and because your body and your taste buds cleanse, right? So I highly recommend to drop all food, so you give your chance to cleanse your taste buds among all other things, and that way when you come back from a fast and you taste that gum, you might taste something different. You might taste a deeper level of taste. You might taste not only the first layer of really obvious tastes, but you all might also taste those additives, those chemicals, those things that are actually don't you might not find comfortable anymore. So you'll be surprised how many habits you will change from this fast. So I'm not a professional person who studied this. I just talked to a lot of people who did it, and I watched a lot of videos on it, and I find it really, really interesting. So
And
I
you did it
don't
yourself.
have a really full spectrum of advice to give, but it's still a lot of advice which I would love to share. So my short answer is I have no idea. But if you need that gum, it's probably not more than 50 calories. But look at the label, like it says on the label. Labels are like really useful things. You should look at them.
Well, I remember 3 years ago when I tried just the 5 days, right? So it was difficult, and I didn't prepare at all, which was probably why I only did 5 days. Just ate whatever, right? And 3 years ago, after the fifth day, I remember that my smells were different. So it's not only the taste buds, but everything. You're just like salivating, even for an orange or just this normal stuff, vegetables. You're like, I just want something, right? So that was a weird experience. I've never had that before. That was only once in my life,
Yeah,
right?
it's like restarting your computer. You're like instead of like craving that chocolate or that quick fix, right? That drug, you're like, oh, I could actually use like a banana. Like I want some nutrients. I don't want a quick fix. I want a long-term solution. I want like some grapefruit or something. I want a mango. When was the last time you ate a mango? Like they're not expensive and they're really, really like they really fill you up. Like when I started fasting, I was in love with mangoes for the first week, but I think they're out of season right now, unfortunately. I would love me a mango right now, but like just look at whatever is there and of high quality. Because what ends up happening is you will eat a lot less because you will start realizing what's quality nutrition, what's not. Because when you have like an empty water only tomato that's a hybrid GMO, like blown up, pretty much fed with steroids to sum it up, and then you have like some tomatoes, like a small, tiny, almost rotten tomato from some random ass small garden, like that ugly looking tomato might actually fill you up more than three of these tomatoes. So when you reset like your entire thoughts, tastes, body, like your mind, your body, even your spirit, everything gets reset. So you're like it'll take you some time to integrate into your new self. But I have a little small warning, like if you do a dry fast, which is highly recommended, obviously more extreme, you don't have to do it immediately. Maybe after you do a couple water fasts, then you step up the channel and challenge. Once this becomes easy, now go to the next level. Don't play on easy mode. Go to medium mode. Go to hard mode. Like life is not a video game on easy mode. We're not on this planet to be fat cats. It's like step it up to the next level, and but be careful how you stop the fast. Stopping the fast is the most important part. And I had a small mistake with my dry fast. Even if it was only 2 days, I stopped with water. Then I took a tiny bit of jelly, a natural jelly though, that's homemade from my parents, I think. And then I had a little bit of like some strawberries and stuff, and I started eating like light fruit the same day. The next day I was eating like some like light soups and stuff and light bread, not like many big foods, but I was just so happy to taste stuff again in my mouth. Because I'm not your average person who had much weight to lose to begin with. So I was like, okay, I'm running out of fat here. I should actually consume some like quick carbohydrates just to feed myself really quickly. So I wasn't able to resist because my body was pushing me, and maybe mentally as well. I'm not sure. But I did take a couple of quick fixes, even though they're natural. Even it was like maybe next day or even like later in the same day. But on day 2 after the dry fast and after I ended both fasts at the same time. On day 2 after I stopped, I had a tiny bit of stomach cramps because I was taking maybe way too many different foods at once, not keeping it simple. Because I'll just take a bite of this, a bite of like this. It wasn't like big quantities, but just I was like, oh my god, this tastes so good. So just be careful how you stop it. Be really, really careful. That's the most important thing, the way you stop it. Because you don't want to overload yourself. You guys all heard those stories of people who are in those concentration camps and they were skinny and almost dying. And these soldiers, you know, who are rescuing them, gave them like some chocolates or anything they had on them, right? And like a couple people died from those chocolates because that's not a good way to stop a fast. Those are really, really extreme cases. Those people haven't had quality food in months and months and months and months and months. It wasn't like planned on off with like quality time to regenerate. It was just forced nonstop. And when they cut the fast and got some quality food, I mean not quality food, like got some shitty food, some junk food, and they're like, oh, give me anything. And you don't want to put junk food in your system when you stop a fast. You won't. I mean, it's very unlikely you'll die, but you'll get a really strong headache and you get some really crazy stomach cramps. And like, okay, I won't make that mistake again. But it's just the way we stop is the most important. It's like,
in.
yeah, it's like a transition slowly, like really softly. So like maybe just one day of like soups and just juices, and then one way of like vegetarian, and then one way of just normal, but still light. And then see how you feel, because you might not eat the same quantity of food anymore. Your body the food you eat might be a lot less, but you might use more of it. So if you ate like, I don't know, 5 eggs for breakfast, you might actually feel just as good from 3 eggs, because you will make a better use of those 3 eggs than you did with 5 before, because before we just shut it out. And this time you would actually take the nutrients out.
Would you recommend for people who are interested in this, but maybe they can't because of work or school, although right now it's the quarantine, intermittent fasting for, the first
that's a
12,
really easy way to
13 hours?
start. Yeah,
Okay.
there's lots of information on that. The most common one is 8-16, where you eat for 8 hours, whatever the fuck you want, and then 16 hours just don't eat anything. It's basically the equivalent of skipping breakfast. So having the biggest gap between your last meal of the day and the meal of your next day. So if you eat at 8 p.m. And then next day you should skip breakfast and then have a lunch at noon. That's 8-16. They're right there. You can make it. Oh, I'm sorry. It's 6-16. My math was off. So yeah, no, 6-8. Okay.
No, it's
I'm
8.
sorry. It is 8-16. But 6-18 is like a more advanced one, where you eat for 6 hours and then not eat for 18 hours. We can make it smaller and smaller and smaller. Like some people have 1 meal a day, which I did
Right.
for a long time. But the most important thing you should really, really remember, for you guys who are still watching, thank you for being here. If you ever do intermittent fasting, most people fuck up because they stay to this routine and don't change it. Your body will adapt to anything. And if you keep one thing long enough, your body will figure it out and it'll act and it'll just go back to normal. It'll figure out how to act normally from that new diet. So you want to spice it up and change things around. So maybe have like one day where you just do whatever the fuck you want. Like if you want to have cake 5 in the morning or like at midnight, just eat it. Whatever you want to eat, whatever your body craves, just eat it. Just have like a couple of random days sprinkled out where you just randomly confuse your body. Just throw in an oddball, right? Be like, oh, wait, what? Oh, I'm not eating usually in the morning or evening. What's happening? Or like, what was the last time I ate cake? Like, wait, why am I eating cake? Like, why am I eating pizza? It's like, I never eat this. Like, I haven't eaten this in months. It's like your body gets confused. So you don't want to let it adapt to this one single thing, because it'll get lazy. It'll figure out how to take shortcuts and be lazy. Because we're really efficient at being lazy and adapting to anything. You don't want to let it adopt if your goal is losing weight. But if you just want to maintain stuff, still sprinkle in a couple like weird days, just random days here and there. But it's just really important to not stick to one thing to the extreme. You want to have some leeway. Don't be extreme in anything. Now, this comes from a full-time hippie, but I'm not always a full-time hippie. Sometimes I start businesses and stuff.
Hey, life's a journey. I used to be a hippie wearing a hippie bandana a few years back. It always changes, throws a curveball at you. Uh, so, what would you say to people, apart from doing it for health reasons, there's a crowd that's going to do it for religious reasons or probably spiritual reasons, right?
There's an
It's
interesting video.
associated.
I saw an
What's up?
interesting video of a woman doing a 120-day fast for God. It was water fast. It was 40 days on, a week off, and then like times
Crazy.
times three, right? But I don't think she did it properly because she should have done 40-40, not 47-47-47. Like she was not eating for 4 days and eat for 7 days. She didn't have time to recover. So, but she still was able to push through it and said like she got some like all of her prayers got fulfilled by the end because the intensity of everything becomes stronger the more you fast. You literally have more mental focus. Your body's like a hungry lion, right? It's really flexible and just wants to move around and chase that, that meal, find that food, hunt that, whatever, deer, right? So your body becomes like this hyper charged hunting machine or gathering machine, however you want to look at it. I don't support high meat intake anymore. And your mind becomes this like really, really fast. I had some amazing ideas. I had to write down of like crazy things I want to do in my life or build or make or invent during this water fast. I was like, it was so at one day I had like 3 ideas at the same time. I was like, oh my God, I have to write this down before I forget. So, and you spiritually, believe it or not, you will also get so much more sharp. So if you want to do any type of deep meditations, any type of deep contemplations, self-reflections, no matter what word you insert, into the blank, it will be more intense. So if your prayers, your meditations, your energy work, anything will be just more intense. So life will also be more intense, and you will start respecting life for the miracle it is. And next time you eat food and water, you'll be like, wow. There's a really nice video of a guy just not drinking and eating for 7 days and having his first like cup of water. He was like, oh, he was like laughing like he was high because you feel the entire love from this water when you actually respect it. Because none of us, like, how many of us actually respect food and water, for crying out loud? Like, how many of us grow our own food and know how hard it is to make food? We just buy the damn thing and put it in our mouth, don't even respect it, right? Don't even know where it comes from. And this changes your perspective on everything. But I urge you, like, if you do this, rethink your life, because when you finish your fast, you want to be really careful with what you put back into your body. Because once your body is like, this fast will cleanse everything. But once your body is cleansed, you want to be really careful what you put. Like, imagine you have a car which is like old and falling apart. And you remodel, you do everything. Like, you change everything. Everything is shiny new. Like, this car is sparkly clean, right? Do you really want to take some dirty old shoes and walk in to the car? No. Like, don't go buy a Big Mac. It's like, don't go get that fries, right? Like, like, once you reset and clear all the viruses from your computer, you don't want to go watch porn and install some questionable cracked video games and get some more viruses. It's like, okay, here's a fresh start. Like what do you want to do with it? It's a question for you guys. It's like when you had a fresh start, when you clean everything, your mind, body, and your spirit, right? Like, how do you want to start this new fresh life? Do you want to go grab that Snickers, or do you want to go grab that I don't know, like mango, or some go to some like local farmer and be like, hey, like, can I buy milk from you? Or find somebody who has eggs who are free range chickens, and like eat some eggs. Like, you will be surprised how tasty eggs can be when they're actually real chickens, not like clones in a farm, in a laboratory. And then like get a good water filter and get like find a source of water that's close to nature. And then filter that water yourself to make sure like you just clean out any minerals and bacterials. I mean, not minerals, I'm sorry. Heavy metals and bacteria and stuff you're not ready for. So like, oh my God, like you will so look at life with different like angle. It's like being reborn again. It's like, how do you want to lead this new life?
Paradigm shift. For the Americans out there, there is a huge difference between the same exact food, fruits, vegetables, even Subway, Starbucks. There's a difference because of the chemicals in Europe where we are currently and back where you guys are. So just the same food, different chemicals, different feelings.
It's like having
a lot of
it's like your body's a fucking Ferrari. Do you really want to buy some cheap ass fuel for it? Like, go buy that organic food. Like, pay 5 times the price for it. It'll, like, you won't have to change any parts in 5 years. You won't have to do any surgery in 5 years. So it's like, it'll be worth it. It'll pay itself off. Trust me. It's like, don't be cheap on food. Be cheap on everything else. Like, fuck material things. Fuck everyone. Fuck capitalism. But like, food. Spend all your money on food. Like, but good food. Like, go to a good restaurant that you know has like that sources from a local farm. Like, go enjoy food, but not any food. Like, spend all your money on food. Go for it.
So, in conclusion, you'd say you recommend fasting for everyone.
Yeah, because that's what everyone used to do before we became fat, lazy cats. I mean, I love cats. I love cats. I'm not insulting cats here, but like fat cats, come on, fat people, come on. Like, life's crying. Your life is literally crying for you to like try something new. Because if you're not enjoying life right now and don't like the way you look right now, what was the last time you changed something in your life?
Deep thoughts. Deep thoughts. Oh boy. Well, it is an interesting experience. This is coming from somebody who's tried it 3 years back, so I still remember some of it. It was difficult. I did it wrong.
Dude, how about we end this video with a promise from you that you will try it?
Again, the food fast? Sure. All right.
Yeah, don't have to go water. Well, I mean, don't have to like go dry fast. Forget I ever mentioned it. But like, dude, try a 7-day water fast.
Yeah, when you said the water fast in your last video, I was like, that's just crazy. You can do it, but you need to prepare yourself. Even like you said, mentally, based on what you eat on a diet every single day. It's just going through your mind. It's like, all right, well, I can eat that. What about if you go outside, right? Right now it's the quarantine, so you're not really going to have that. But you go outside, you smell hot dogs, you smell this, you smell all of this food because your senses are getting more powerful. You're like, I want this, I want this, I want this. Because when you have no food at all whatsoever, like you said, the first 2 days are difficult.
It's a lot easier if you're somewhere closer to nature. It's definitely a lot easier. So that's the one thing I forgot to mention, since I do take it for granted, since I haven't spent much time in a big city. Like, I spend maybe like 10% of my time in a big city, not much more than that. Maybe less, maybe 5% of my time in a big city. I'm mostly like out in nature and in like small villages and stuff. So if you're in a big city, just do your best to just find a park and do most of your work in a park, or at least walk in a park like a couple hours a day. It'll make your fast be so much more powerful and last so much longer. Because when you're away from all that, just call it negativity from an average city, your body will just thrive when it's not bombarded nonstop. So that's a good point. That's a really good point. Be as close to nature as possible. You will be impressed how much longer you will enjoy the fast and not just last and survive the fast, and how much more time and energy you will have when you're in nature and fasting, because that's as close to nature as you can get, because that's what we used to do, be nature and fast half the time we were on this planet. But I'll leave it at this. I'm out of time for now, but let's do another crazy topic really soon.
All right. Well, thank you for the live stream. If you guys enjoyed, hit the like button, subscribe. We shall see you possibly in a future live stream. No way.
And thank you for listening to me talk for these last 30 minutes. I love you. Bye.
See ya.
All right, guys, that's the video. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys tomorrow. If you enjoyed that, please hit the like button, subscribe, share, visit next channel, and bye.